Donald Trump told his supporters on Friday night that if they vote for him in this upcoming election, he will fix it so good that they won't have to worry about voting in the next election, the 2028 election. And everybody has been relentlessly talking about these comments, as they should, but because of the depravity of those comments, something else he said during the same rally sort of flew under the radar. Not as many people are talking about this, and I want to cover it because it is just as much of a threat to our Constitution, our way of living, our rule of law. And Donald Trump is honestly the king of sprinkling fascistic comments in all of his speeches, all of his appearances, and he just throws so much stuff to the wall that you begin to lose track. I mean, he has undermined our courts and our elections and our Constitution so many times that you begin to forget certain comments he's made. I was prepping for a debate one time and I went through the whole prep and completely forgot that Donald Trump said that we should terminate all rules and laws found in the Constitution, and that is wild. Nobody normal says that. Leave a like on the video if you agree, and before I break down that clip, I want to break down this article that says Donald Trump doesn't respect or even understand the Constitution, and this is something that Donald Trump proves time and time again. Let's go through some examples, then let's break down this wild clip that people should be paying attention to. The, quote, revelation that former President Donald Trump supports the termination of the U.S. Constitution, if that's what it takes to make him president again, is hardly worthy of the name. Trump's comments, which he posted on Truth Social on Saturday and vehemently denied on Monday, is a slightly more explicit rejection of constitutional constraints than he's ventured in the past. Time and time again, Donald Trump has undermined our Constitution, undermined the foundations of our country, and this is just wild. So he posted this about 2 years back on Truth Social on Saturday, then denied on Monday that he ever called for terminating the rules and laws of the Constitutions. This apathy for the Constitution was evident well before Trump formally entered politics. One early indicator was his disturbing affection for eminent domain, the government's authority to take private property for public use provided it makes, quote, just compensation to the owner. On both the campaign trail and as president, while insisting he is, quote, with the Constitution 100%, Trump has made his anti-constitutionalism even more apparent. Though he has lately discovered a personal interest in the Fourth Amendment, in 2015 he said he, quote, tends to err on the side of security over liberty where privacy rights in the war on terror are concerned. Donald Trump also wants to gut the First Amendment in many ways. He called to, quote, open up libel laws to infringe on the freedom of the press because he doesn't like how the press talks about him. And this brings me back to this clip from his speech in St. Cloud, Minnesota. This is something he said time and time again, but he is still calling to revoke the citizenship or throw people in prison for burning the American flag, which, yeah, it's sort of a cringy thing to do, but that is our First Amendment right. I can burn whatever the hell flag I want, and nobody can do anything about it because this is America, and Donald Trump is not a patriot. Let's watch.
And we do not need more people who want to burn our flag. I watched yesterday and the day before, they're burning our American flag. And I said, I know they say it's unconstitutional. Well, make it not unconstitutional. You burn our American flag, you should get immediately mandatory 1 year in jail.
He's even self-aware. He's aware that this is unconstitutional and it is fascistic, and he still calls for it because it makes the crowd cheer, and that is all that Donald Trump cares about at the end of the day. He doesn't care about any of the silent norms that have held this country up since its inception. He doesn't care about any of the rules that are written on paper by people much, much smarter than him, much, much smarter than me. He will break all of those just so that the crowd cheers and he can feel good about himself. Here is another clip of Donald Trump saying that we should give federal immunity to police officers. Imagine a Donald Trump as the president of the United States who can say anything as an official act and has basically presidential immunity, and then has a police force under him of Trump sycophants who also have immunity, federal immunity as police officers. This is a nightmare scenario, and if that doesn't motivate you to vote this November, I don't know what will, but let's watch this clip.
We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Federal immunity, he said. Then, when MAGA politicians are asked about the rhetoric Trump uses, they laugh it off and say that it's classic Trump. But if classic Trump equals fascistic rhetoric, then maybe Trump equals a fascist. It is that simple. Watch this clip of Chris Sununu running defense for Donald Trump. The way he laughs is disgusting.
President Trump facing some backlash for those comments Friday night, saying his supporters won't have to vote again in 4 years. I'm joined now by the Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu. Governor, what the heck did he mean there?
Well, I think that was a classic Trumpism, if you will. I think he's just trying to make the point that this stuff can be fixed. Obviously, we want everybody to vote in all elections, but I think he was just trying to make a hyperbolic point that it can be fixed as long as he gets back into office and all that. But, classic Trump right there.
Okay.
Classic Trump, just using absolutely fascistic rhetoric. The way that guy giggled and laughed at it made me sick. I mean, these people are so jolly while using authoritarian rhetoric or while providing cover for authoritarians at the very least. This man is running defense for Donald Trump as he says, we will fix it so good you don't have to vote. Number one, the grammar is terrible there. Number two, when he uses the word fix, what comes to your mind? Because they're trying to play it off as him saying, oh, we're going to fix the institutions and the voting machines. We're going to fix them, repair them like we're repairmen. No, what he meant is we're going to fix them. We're going to rig them like a fixed card game. Also, even if we were to grant their understanding, their interpretation of it, that they are going to fix all of our voting machines and systems, the way that Donald Trump and his advisors like Mike Lindell and Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell would fix machines, would repair machines, would be to just rig it in a roundabout way. Even if Donald Trump was just saying that him and his cronies were going to repair our elections, I still wouldn't be okay with that. I still wouldn't want that to happen because he would just be rigging it. But don't let Republicans gaslight you. Donald Trump 100% meant he was going to fix our elections. I mean, he said it 3 times. Chris Sununu in this interview also says he wants everybody to be able to vote. Everybody should be allowed to vote, but Republicans have time and time again tried to disenfranchise different voters. In North Carolina, they targeted black Americans with surgical precision. That is what the courts in North Carolina said, with surgical precision, by introducing new types of voter IDs that black Americans couldn't get access to disproportionately. In other parts of the country, they limit the amount of polling stations available in low-income areas, so black Americans are affected, disabled Americans are affected, white Americans are affected. The Republican Party wants to disenfranchise people that vote against them. Disenfranchise the minority voters of America mainly because black voters, for example, vote Democrat 92% to 8% Republican. So Republicans, instead of toning it down on the racism, are like, why don't we just disenfranchise voters? Either way, my point is, Chris Sununu is lying when he says Republicans want everyone to vote. If you agree and if you appreciate what I do, make sure you leave a like on this video, comment a blue heart, subscribe to my channel, and most importantly, have a great rest of your day.